Most into this conversation, I want to speak to you about a very important hack. And the hack is, how do you actually use your PenFed credit cards to get a big amount when we speak about the $25,000 PenFed line of credit? This is a great hack because a lot of folks don't see a correlation between credit card usage and line of credit, right? So in today's conversation, I will break it down for you and explain to you how the two not only correlate, but also how you can use credit cards to get the largest PenFed line of credit that you apply for, okay? So stick around till the end of today's conversation.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower that's stinging in the beat, but the rhythm's getting higher. Go, 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 go. One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to speak to you about the $25,000 PenFed line of credit. How do you use your PenFed credit cards to get a big amount on that line of credit? So let me give you an overview. First, you need to familiarize yourself with PenFed line of credit. And one thing I want to say here is that PenFed line of credit lately has actually pulled their line of credit information from the public website. So going forward, you have to be a member. And they actually they rotate the locations where they actually have the products available. So depending on your location, you may not see the PenFed line of credit offer from them, but they do have it for members, okay, depending on the geography, okay. But you need to familiarize yourself with the PenFed line of credit. So it's a typical line of credit that has a draw period, that has an interest accrual period, and that has a repay period, okay? So basically, when you think about it, a line of credit from PenFed or any other institution is a type of revolving credit, okay? So this type of credit lets you tap into funds multiple times instead of getting the money as a lump sum. Think about it as a credit card, okay? So if you qualify for a personal line of credit from PenFed, you'll have access to your money through a draw period, which is a set amount of time that you are allowed to withdraw money from your account. Okay, so draw periods usually last a few years, during which you often have the option of only making minimum payments when you borrow. Okay, so things to think about that. Now, the cool thing with PenFed line of credit that we love is that not only do you have access to your cash when you need it, anytime for anything you want, okay, but the payments are based on the amount you actually use, not on the amounts of your line of credit, okay. And we love the fact that with PenFed, the maximum line amount is $25,000, which is more than decent. What fantastic! You get fixed rates as low as 5.99% APR, okay, and you can pre-qualify for this line of credit. That's just what we love here also, and you have free checks that allow you to access your line. Okay, and one thing I want to say here is that they have a very fast review process. So if you apply today, expect a decision within 24 hours or 48 hours, okay? They'll get back to you, which is really great for a large institution as PenFed, okay? For them to get back to you within 24 hours is really, really great. So I just gave you the overview about the line of credit. Now, let me just dig a little deeper into the hack or hacks you need to employ, you need to use your credit card to get a big line of credit amount. First, you got to think about your spending. Boss, I'm talking to you about you need to determine your spend pattern. What kind of spending do you currently have? Or do you spend a lot of cash on groceries? Do you spend a lot of cash at gas stations? Do you love entertainment? Do you dine out? Those are important elements. What is your financial situation? What is your household situation? Are you single right now, or do you have a family? Do you have kids? All of these things are important. One thing I want you to really pay attention to is that you want to use the right card for your situation so that you can maximize not only rewards, okay, but also you have to be in a situation where you actually pay off the card often. Very important. When you do that, your FICO score will go up, your PenFed Next Gen internal score will go up, and this will improve your odds of getting a high line amount when you apply for the line of credit. Okay, it's very important. So think about your regular monthly expenses. Okay, what do you see maximum desired usage? Are you actually do you have a daily travel expenses, or do you have monthly? Okay, are you a frequent flyer? Okay, do you need benefits on hotel bookings? Do you need to use the card overseas? Okay, do you want to pay an annual fee for premium benefits? This is the kind of conversation I want you to think about. So, boss, determine your spend patterns. Okay, grandpa, grandma, dad, mom, nephew, niece, son, daughter, I want you to think about your spending pattern. It's very important to have a relationship between your spend pattern, okay, and your ability to repay whatever you charge on the card. Think about it. If you are able to match your, and I'll speak about that in the next section. But one thing I want to say here is that if you're able to clearly have a clear idea about your spend pattern, you are already winning 20% of the game. Very important, because again, what you want to make sure that you have a clear idea of your spend pattern. Most importantly, you have the right card for it. Okay, very important. Now, one thing I want to say here is that a lot of people just hear their friends or family members say, "Listen, I apply for this PenFed Gold credit card or this PenFed Platinum card. I love it," and they just go ahead and they just apply blindly. You never do that, because your friends or relatives' spend patterns is totally different from your spend patterns. Okay, don't you try to mimic somebody else's spend pattern. Okay, very important. I just want you to stay you. Stay you. The second thing I want you to think about is the card fitness. This is important. So after determining your spend pattern, you need to match your spend pattern with plastic from PenFed. This is important. You have to understand, okay, when you think about a credit card, you got to think about what really works for you. Because credit cards, as we know, they actually allow you to purchase now and pay later, right? This is just what it is. So you want to make sure that you spend on the right card. Okay, so if you spend a lot on food or movie tickets, whatever, look for a card that actually matches that. It's very important. And the thing that you need to think about is that you want to have a card that is constantly growing with you. You want to have a PenFed credit card that is constantly growing with you. What I'm trying to say is, if you're making $20,000 a year, you can have a card. But if that card doesn't follow through when you're making $60,000 a year and your expenses have gone up, this is not good. You want a card that scales with you, that works with you, that rides with you. Okay, that's what it is. Now, I want you to familiarize yourself with the specific PenFed cards that you want. And here are some examples. So if you love travel, for instance, okay, so when we talk about card fitness, you have to make sure the card fits your spend patterns and your lifestyle. So if you are a travel lover like I am, you might want to try to apply for and use the PenFed Pathfinder Rewards Visa Signature Card. Of course, if you are approved, okay? This card is great because it offers 3 points back per dollar spent on travel purchases, 4 points back on travel for PenFed Honors Advantage members, okay? And the card has also 1.5 points back per dollar spent on all other purchases. And you have a welcome offer of 50,000 bonus points after spending $3,000 in purchase transactions within the first 90 days of account opening. Okay, there is an annual fee of $95 that's waived for PenFed Honors Advantage members. And then if you love a card that actually rewards you on gas purchases, I want you to think about the PenFed Platinum Rewards Visa Signature Card. Okay, with this card, you earn 5 points per dollar spent on gas at the pump and electric vehicle charging station. Okay, and you have 3 points per dollar spent on supermarket purchases and 1 point per dollar on all other purchases. And there's a welcome offer of 15,000 points after spending $1,500 in the first 3 months. Okay, and if you are looking for, let's say you're looking for flat rate rewards, you can think about the PenFed Power Cash Rewards Visa Signature Card. Okay, this card is great because it has 1.5% unlimited cashback on all purchases. And the rewards rate is 2% cashback for PenFed Honors Advantage member. What's my point here? What's my point? My point is, you want to have a card that fits your lifestyle. You want to have a card that actually fits your spend pattern, so that you are able not only to use the card to get all the rewards possible, but also beef up your FICO score. But also, most importantly, you want to cultivate that relationship with PenFed. one thing I really want to emphasize for you, son, are you there? Okay, I want you to monitor your FICO score as you go along. Okay, the thing is, I'm not asking you to have a crazily high FICO score, even though that will be ideal. But to get the $25,000 PenFed line of credit, you don't have to have an 825 credit score like most of our team members do. No, you don't have to. You just need to have a decent FICO score, okay, that goes up all the time. You can start at 600 or 625 or 650 or 700, but you just want to monitor it so it can go all the time. So there are a few things I want you to pay attention to. But most importantly, your payment history. I don't care. Don't you try to, give me excuses about why you're not paying your credit cards. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I want you to pay your credit card bills on time, all the time. That's what I care about. Okay, don't you try to razzle dazzle me and trying to give me excuses. Well, this month I ain't get paid. I ain't gotten paid, so whatever. Blah 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 blah. If you cannot, ideally you want to actually pay the full balance on your credit card. But if you can't pay it, at least make the minimum payments. That's what I care about. I want you to really be in a situation where at least you are, because remember, your payment history accounts for what? 35% of your FICO score. Okay, and then next, I want you to think about your credit utilization ratio, which has a big impact vis-a-vis the fact that when PenFed start looking at you and think about your liquidity level, are you living within your means or beyond your means? What is it? So make sure that you keep a low credit utilization ratio, if at all. Okay, low means what? At least, at most 30%. You want to be below 30%. Think about having credit diversity, okay? Trying to diversify your credit products that you have and limit the number of inquiries that you have. Don't you try to apply for a credit card or loan all the time. Don't do this. I mean, what is it with that? Some people just apply for credit cards and loans you're like, oh, wow, what's going on here? This ain't no game. You can't just apply every day or every week. Take it easy. What are you looking for? Talk to me. So if you are in that category, talk to me, okay? Drop us a comment or a question. We'll answer you. Remember, you are never alone. You are never alone, okay? And your length of credit history, try to extend the length of credit history as much as possible. In other words, you just have to be patient, okay? So all of these things are quintessential for you having a high FICO score, which by way of consequence will impact positively your ability to get the $25,000 PenFed line of credit. And speaking of utilization, I really want to dwell a little bit on that topic because we receive a lot of questions about credit utilization ratio. Folks are confused. They're trying to understand, are we talking about per card utilization versus total utilization? Okay, here is our advice based on research and based on our own membership into PenFed for the last 30 years, 35 years at least. Yeah. You want to reduce your credit card utilization to bump up your FICO. And you want to do this at least 3 months before applying for the line of credit. Okay. So when you do this, what will happen here is that you will have a high FICO score. But most importantly, your PenFed next gen internal score will also go up. Okay, and so when we talk about utilization, we are speaking about per card utilization, but also your total utilization. So if you have 4 or 5 credit cards, you're going to have to think about your aggregate utilization, and where you also have to monitor your per card utilization. Ideally, this is a big ideal here. You want to be below 30% when it comes to utilization. Okay, you want to have, if you can maintain a 20% or even single digit, that's even better. And our preference is to have a 0% utilization. In other words, you pay your credit card bills in full all the time and on time. That's what I care about. That's what we have been doing. That's what most of our team members do. So we don't carry balances. We never carry balances. So we don't pay interest. We don't pay APRs and whatnot. We don't pay fees. No, we never do that. Okay. So you want to be below 30%. Okay. And when we talk about this, you remember that credit utilization ratio is an important element because it accounts for 30% of your FICO score. So when I want you to think about balance reporting and credit utilization. You need to understand it accounts for 30% of your FICO score. So if your goal is to beef up your FICO score exponentially so that you can stand a good chance of being approved for the $25,000 PenFed line of credit, you want to work on your utilization. Oh yeah, you want to lay, and the whole thing is that it starts with you living within your means or below your means, right? I mean, if you're making three grand a month, don't live like someone who's making 10 grand a month, somebody who's making 30 grand a month for that matter, right? Live within your means, son. Live within your means, daughter. I want you to start thinking about that. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Finest, young Mr. Killer, and call me señorita. I papi got me dreaming, my legs up on the ceiling. Oh yeah. I know when he come, he ain't never gonna leave now. Hit it the night run, and that's the way I wanna be. So don't think I'm the one to won't ever be enough.
Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. In today's conversation, I'm explaining to you how to actually use credit cards to get a high line of credit from PenFed. Okay, the maximum line amount here is $25,000. Now, I want to talk to you about line proceeds. Be ready to explain what you need the money for. I know you're all happy. You're all very happy, excited that I'm gonna get this line of credit. I'm gonna get the cash that I need anyway. Blah blah blah. Right? But you got to be able to articulate why you need the money. And you need to show PenFed that you have the means to repay whatever limit, whatever line of credit they extend to you. So you got to do two things here: some explanation and some substantiation. You got to substantiate. Okay. So usually a line of credit is great for long-term needs. Okay, when you don't have a fixed cost. So it could be home renovations. Okay, if you're renovating a home or adding onto a house, you might not know the exact cost of your repairs, right? So unexpected expenses might also pop up as you start the work. So unlike a home improvement loan, which comes with a fixed amount, a personal line of credit lets you repeatedly draw on and pay off your credit line to cover additional costs. And you can also use it for seasonal cash flow. I mean, if you are a sole proprietorship, an entrepreneur, a freelancer, or a business owner who experiences seasonal cash flow variations, a personal line of credit could help tide you over until your income increases, okay? Because you can use a line of credit multiple times, you can use it to pay for necessary expenses when your income dips during your off season. And also you can use it for medical expenses. I mean, costs for medical procedures can fluctuate based on your recovery times and needs. So a personal line of credit gives you the flexibility to take out money for extra cost that you might not have anticipated. Okay. Now that's the first part. Now let's talk about the substantiation. You need to explain where you'll find the cash to live if you're unemployed. Okay. How you will repay whatever you charge on this line of credit. Your future employment goals, especially if you're currently unemployed. Okay. Be ready to show your tax returns too, okay? And be ready to show your CV. So everything you can show to a PenFed, okay? And some of those tips applies to people who are unemployed, but in general, you gotta show employment, proof of employment, proof of proof of pay, okay? So we're talking about making sure that you are actually telling PenFed that you are working. And you are working at this company for a while, okay? So we have seniority at the job. All these things help. The last thing I want you to do is to apply. And when we talk about applying for a PenFed line of credit, see, you've done the work already. You've used your credit card responsibly. Okay, you have been able to explain to PenFed what you need the money for and that you have the means to repay whatever you charge on the line of credit. Now apply. Ideally, a lot of folks want to apply for a line of credit online, but we think it's a lot better to apply at a branch or over the phone. As I said at the beginning of this show, the PenFed line of credit is available based on geography, and it is a product that PenFed has started. They are actually rolling this out to select geographies. So you first want to call. You want to give them a call and say, listen, is a PenFed line of credit available in my area? And if yes, how do I apply? Okay. And or if you live in the vicinity of a PenFed branch, even better, just go to the branch. Okay. Talk to someone. Okay. And the whole thing is you want to ask them if pre-application, pre-approval is possible. Because the whole thing is you want to gauge your chances of approval, but even before you apply, right? That way you save yourself a hard pull. Okay, this is really great. And the whole thing is to get as much intel at the branch as possible, right? So you make an informed decision. Don't forget though, you got to bring your paperwork. I mean, you got to have your tax returns, you got to have your W-2s. If you have 1099s, if you are an independent contractor, bring your 1099. Okay, you want to bring your bank statements if you don't bank with PenFed exclusively. In other words, you have other bank accounts. Okay, so you might want to even think about your personal financial statements. My point here is what? My point is that you want to give all information PenFed needs to actually make a decision, a fast decision at that, when it comes to your PenFed line of credit. Very important. And ask all questions. Okay, when you're talking to the rep, I want you to ask all questions, and I want you to be also forthcoming with your situation. Don't you try to razzle dazzle the rep, trying to lie to them. They'll find out anyway when you apply for real. Okay, so it's just a lot better to give them to paint the most accurate picture for them, so they can tell you, hey, listen, based on what you told me, I don't think this is a great time for you to apply, or based on what you told me, I believe this is the greatest time for you to apply. So it's always important to have conversations so you get the most valuable intel. Okay. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was talking to you about the $25,000 PenFed line of credit. How do you use your PenFed credit cards to get a big amount? Okay. So I gave you an overview about the line of credit. And I spoke to you about spending, card fitness. I spoke to you about your FICO score, and I spoke to you about your utilization ratio. I also spoke to you about the line proceeds, and last but not the least, the application that you have to do online, you have to do on the phone or at the branch. Thank you so much for your attention again. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.